Welcome to the Trimetric Roadmap, powered by Business Freedom Advisors, the podcast for business owners who want to grow their business and enjoy their life. Hey, I'm your host, Scott Landis, creator of the Trimetric Tracking System and author of Balancing Act. If you're tired of chasing success at the expense of your health, your marriage, or your peace of mind, you're in the right place. On this show, we help you track what really matters: business health, life quality, and leadership performance, all in one simple, powerful system. Because when those get out of sync, everything else starts to break down. Our goal here is to help you align it all so you can lead with clarity, scale with purpose, and finally enjoy the freedom you've been working so hard to create. And if it feels like no one's ever shown you how to pull that off, this podcast might just be the missing link you've been quietly searching for. Now, let's dive into today's episode. Welcome to the Trimetric Roadmap Podcast, brought to you by Business Freedom Advisors. We're here with Scott Landis and Jeff Jacob, co-founders of Business Freedom Advisors. And today we're talking about why founder-led companies tend to stall. It's a predictable part of the evolution of a business. And usually it's not because the founder lacks drive or vision or work ethic. They're some of the hardest working people we know. But it's because the business has grown beyond what the founder effort alone can carry. And that's where Trimetric usually comes in, things like business health and executive performance. And at a certain point, what got the company where it is will not get it where it's going to go. And that's why so many of the founders and business owners we talk to feel stuck, and they feel like they've been stuck for a long time. And that is where executive performance comes in. It's where business health comes in. And that's where Business Freedom Advisors comes in, Jeff. Jeff, hey, how's it going there?
Hey, Scott, good to see you again.
So why do you think founder-led companies start to stall as they grow? What comes to mind when you consider that question?
The first thing I would say with all of that is that you're exactly right, that it's not because of a lack in them of vision or energy or any of that or ideas. Those elements of a founder are why they have something that has stalled, why there was growth in the first place. And there's something to have stalled is because of all of those great qualities of the founder. The problem then comes there's when the workflow becomes big enough to where one person, you can't build or increase who you are. You can grow it a little bit, but you can't, fundamentally grow. You're one person. And so if there's a workflow that is coming through one person, it's the definition of a bottleneck. And the founders inability to really have systems in place that grow that open up that bandwidth that really ends up just turning into a bottleneck, and it slows the flow of life that the organization can have.
Yeah, totally. That's well said. I'm looking at our homepage, and if you're interested in going to our homepage, just go to bfapro.com and that'll get you there. We have our proven process just right under the fold of the homepage, and it's I'm just going to describe it for if you're driving or you're not able to look it up right now. But it starts with we basically say it's 3 stages to go from the chaos of entrepreneurship to the freedom of being a founder with freedom, one who has a business that can run without you. So it starts with a level zero being entrepreneur chaos. That looks like bottleneck and overload, no financial clarity. You got drama in your team, people drama, and you are drama, maybe. You've got scattered tools, if you have tools at all, disconnected help, disjointed advisors. All of that is what we usually encounter when we come into a relationship with an entrepreneur is feeling that kind of chaos. So what we try to do, and I'll just go over this real high overview, we try to go level 1 being operational stability, bring stability operationally. That's where, the business health that the business health diagnostic that you oversee, Jeff, is huge for this because we want to. I use this metaphor of there's if your business is a bucket that you're trying to fill and have it pour out profit into your life, the more that you have this bucket flowing, overflowing, the more wealthy you are. But if your bucket has holes in it, you need to know that the business health diagnostic will find those holes, determine where they are, and then we can actually know what to do about it and start plugging those holes. And then we also bring in our team that starts to fill the bucket as well. So we have revenue creation while we're
Mhm.
giving efficiency. So all that is the beginning of operational stability, and then we move to level 2, which is executive systems and installing executive systems. And that's what we're going to be talking about over the course of the next few episodes, starting with today. What does it look like to have executive systems installed? Systems that replace bottlenecks, they bring in KPIs and dashboards. They got guide decisions. Leadership owns results. And that is a key point, that you no longer have to own results. You have leadership that owns results. So that kind of ties into what you're talking about, Jeff. And then the final stage 3, is the business can start to run without you. It's founder optional. So that's the dream. That's what we're getting people to, founder optionality. So that's kind of an overview of our proven process, Jeff. And you probably have something to say there. If I have a question for you though, what changes in the business that makes the founder effort no longer enough? Because at some point, again, this is where we usually meet them. They have gotten to they've gotten to where they are because of them. They're the reason
Mhm.
why the business is doing well. It's hard to get a business to get to a place where it's flying, it's taken off and it's flying. Um, but then something changes. Like, what comes to mind when you think about what changes when the effort that they put into it is no longer enough?
What changes? Are you saying why do they become the bottleneck,
Yes,
or what
yes.
changes in the person?
Yeah, because it's interesting because they do end up becoming the bottleneck, and maybe nothing changes in the person, right? But they're just like they're doing what I've always been doing, and all of a sudden now I'm the bottleneck. Like what changed in the business and what
Yeah,
changed in the process that now what I've always done is not working?
we've all worked with people that are, well, I don't know if we all have. We've all worked with people that are like this though, and uh, and really, it might not be easy to hear, but the founders who are becoming bottlenecks, it's hard for them to get out of being a bottleneck, usually because of pride or fear or incompetence in terms of moving forward to the next stage. So skill set, I would say, not incompetence, but skill set for the next level. And so pride, fear, or skill set limitations are usually what keeps them in that place of being a bottleneck. And when we are able to, and we've built pride, those founders have built pride because they have been successful and they've been the ones that it's been on. It's true that the success or failure has been on, and experiencing the success usually makes you feel like, hey, this is because of me. Largely it is. There's a bunch of other factors involved, but you were the one that led through that. And so
Mhm.
it makes sense that you would have those feelings. But being able to humbly realize that I need more help, and that doesn't necessarily mean people, but it's systems that can lead the organization and the people in it in the direction of being able to really be released in who they are and how they're gifted to be, and what the organization needs from them to be able to move it forward.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, let's stick to that for a second because it is a maturity thing that I see our clients go through. And being in the world of working with entrepreneurs and business owners for over 15 years, I can't tell you how many times I've gotten into an early stage conversation with a business owner, and they say, oh, my business is so unique. And I mean, there's no one else that could do, you can't process what I do. And it's funny because that I've heard that in multiple businesses in multiple industries. So they can't all be that unique. And if everybody's that unique, then aren't we all kind of the same? And if things are mostly the same, then we can bring systems to it. I mean, if it's true that it's so unique and nobody else can do it besides you, well, that is a problem because you'll always be if you take you out of the business, you don't have a business. And that's great if you want a lifestyle business, but our people that listen to our podcast here, they're probably thinking I would like to have a business that can run without me. That's why I'm listening to the Trimetric Roadmap. So if you are thinking that and you want a business that can run without you, then you've got a problem. You've got an identity crisis. Is it maybe that you're not as smart as you think you are, or as unique as you think you are? I know that can happen. I need to take a look in the mirror and say, hey, maybe I'm not as cool as I think I am. I need to know that if that's the truth. I'm always thinking about this and always coaching people on, hey, do you want to react and build things based on the fantasy that you're playing out, or do you want to react and build things based on what's real? And it's much more effective. I mean, we spend so much time, waste so much time in life, business, and relationships going off of the fantasy of what we think it could be or what it should be or what I wish it were. I know you wish it were that, but it's not that. Here's the reality. You have something that that isn't, the way you wish it were. So let's get clear. That's another thing I love about the business health diagnostic and our executive performance assessment. It's going to tell you the truth and the reality. That's why we have the Trimetric quiz at trimetricquiz.com. So you can go there, you can get a look in the mirror that says, hey, this is what's real. Let's take a look at what's real and stop playing out, what we wish it were. Now we can really deal with, okay, yeah, there's holes in the bucket.
Yeah. Okay, every human invention, I read this at least, every human invention has been invented by multiple people at the same time. The light bulb, the internet, the smartphones, you go on and on and on. And there's been different versions of them, even Laserdisc and whatever the other one was that we don't remember because it got pushed out.
Mhm.
It's and therefore, even those groundbreaking discoveries are less special than we think they are, or less
Mhm.
unique than we think they
Mhm.
are. And when you look at the pride of I have something very special, and then you look at the fear of, because most founders have struggled to get to that place of success and been through things that haven't worked. And then you get to the fear of, I don't want to lose this. I need to hang on to this. And so you overvalue how special you think you are or your organization is. And yet it is because of you that you found that. So there's a balance in there of we're not trying to break anybody down. We're saying you're amazing, but other things can happen here.
Mhm.
Other things can be amazing as well. And so let's not limit what we can do here. And like reminds me of that acquisition call we were on yesterday, I think, where the guy, it's a fireproofing company, and
Mhm.
he is talking about it as if they're flying around the moon or something. But it is a special company. It's not his way to do it, isn't the only way to do it. There are other fireproofing companies that are successful as well.
Mhm.
So it's not looking at yourself worse. It's just not overvaluing what
Mhm.
it is, taking away the pride and humbly moving forward, implementing what you need to implement that might be a little different, therefore uncomfortable for you, so that you can release the growth and the life of the company.
Mhm. Yeah, we have this three-step process that we go through quarterly, and the first step is what's the truth? And that's what we're kind of talking about. Get a clear view in the mirror of what's real in the health of the business and in the performance of the executive team. And a lot of times that all falls on the shoulders of one person in the stage of business that we're working with. But um, that's what we're talking about. If the truth hurts, be humble enough to face it. Be brave enough to face it, because that's the opposite of the fear, right? Is get brave. And one thing I as you were talking, and what I realized about the clientele that we work with, we are we love our clients, but we admire them. Every one of them, I'm just like, how did you create what you created? This is amazing. What you have done is amazing. How you think is amazing. How you're able to like lift this off the ground is amazing. And yet they're also very humble. And they're humble,
Mhm.
saying all the time, like, I know I'm not the smartest person in the room, and I don't even want to be the smartest person in the room. I'm looking for people that can raise the bar. Like, I've gotten it this far. I've gotten my financials this far, but Jeff, I can tell you can get it farther. And that's the kind of thing that helps you get through this founder bottleneck. You got to face the reality, surround yourself with people that might be experts in things that you're not, and build a team. If you want a business that can run without you, it's about putting people around you that can help you lift things off the ground. And we say all the time, we take stuff off of your plate. Your plate is already full. You can't put one more thing on that plate. Here you go. Finally, somebody's going to come and take the stuff off your plate and own that for you. Who's thinking about that problem besides you? If the answer is nobody, that's the problem. Let's get some people that are helping you solve the biggest challenges, and not just saying helping you solve it and then saying, okay, Mr. Founder, go do that. No, it's help you solve it. And we say, who's going to own that? Oh, okay. It's someone on your fractional executive team. Great. Let's do it. So that just, I was reflecting on, it seems like every single person that we work with, they have this unique balance of this amazing ability and this expertise and something to be really proud of, but they're also very humble and are able to like fearlessly go into the idea of like letting go of the vine, letting go of the reins, letting go of full control so that other people can start to step in and own some stuff. That's where founder freedom as the first step to get there.
Yeah, but making sure that it's the right people too is
Yeah,
very key
sure.
in there. I would I would say that the founder being the bottleneck can be solved with systems, with what did you call that? The executive performance system.
Mm-hmm.
It's the bottleneck can be solved there. The problem with not doing it, or doing it correctly, is reactive growth versus proactive growth. And reactive growth is more survival mode. I was a part of an organization. I was on an executive team when I was 21 through 25, and we were doubling in size every year. And and it started at a decent size, and then doubled in size every year for 3 to 5 years. And there was so much. We ended up having to go in and fix all the systems, the staff, all these things afterwards, because we had grown so reactively that nothing was efficient. Nothing was streamlined. Everything was siloed off. It was not integrated. It was, and therefore it was limiting and wasteful as well. And so going in and fixing that, shoring that up, took a lot of time and it was really painful. So the good side of that is being proactive with the growth so that you can build for scale in the beginning. And as it scales, it can just continue to grow and grow new branches off and off and become a large tree.
Mm-hmm.
That's the reason for being proactive with it, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, and you said something that's key. We're gonna dive deeper into it in the next few episodes. That if you find yourself as you're uh, resonating with this idea that you might be the bottleneck. You're the one who got it to where it is, but now you find yourself in a place where you're the reason, you're the one who's keeping it stuck where it is. You're the bottleneck. And building around and freeing you from that bottleneck is what we're going to be talking about. And we call that, as you said, Jeff, the executive performance system. You are missing the executive performance system in your business, and that's the missing layer between strategy and execution that is going to finally get you unstuck. So we're going to unpack what that is, but as a kind of a broad stroke, it's basically two different engines that need to be installed into the business, and it's a strategic intelligence system, and it's a executive execution discipline system. So in said in a different way, it's the organizational intelligence and it's the organizational execution. So it's the marriage of intelligence and systems. So right now, as a core operator of your business, the person that got you to where you are, you have had that, if just intuitive, right? You know that the intelligence in your brain and the systems in your brain are what got you here. So it just makes sense if we kind of define the executive performance system that we install in the businesses as two engines: getting the intelligence, drawing the intelligence from your brain, and drawing the systems. You don't know if you have systems because you haven't written them out, right? But as you start to put SOPs in place, standard operating process or procedure in place, and you start to write these things down, then you realize, oh, I did that automatically, and it's actually very intricate and very cool when I see it on paper. When I see it in a form that somebody else could do it, it's really cool. And that's what the organizational intelligence and organizational execution is about. There's two different engines or processes that go into taking you from operator to coordinator to facilitator to conductor, and then finally an investor. That's the kind of stuff we're going to unpack in the next couple, 2 or 3 episodes here, Jeff.
Yeah, I love it. And implementing those systems, it gives the founder freedom while also bringing growth and health to a company. And so most founders there's even a little fear of freedom. We were talking to a client the other day who was saying, if I make these sales, I don't know if I can handle the workload, so therefore I don't want to make these sales. And
that's right.
These systems you're talking about are what gives freedom to the founder to be able to live the life you want to live while also having the business grow. It doesn't have to be all the effort you've always put in to get it to this point.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, I definitely have to. I have a hard stop, so I have to wrap us up here. And basically, the Trimetric flywheel is truth, starts with truth, as I mentioned before, then aligning systems and process and action to that truth, and then the action to just execution of carrying it out. Repeat that process every quarter, and you will have a flywheel in your business that starts to build freedom for you as a founder. So if you want to find out what the truth is, take a strong look in the mirror and find out, where am I at on my business health and executive performance, and also the life quality. I'm not feeling a huge balance there. It does all three of those. That's what the Trimetric is all about. So trimetricquiz.com, that's your action item. Go do that. Take the Trimetric quiz, and then come back next week, and we're going to unpack this even further on the next episode. Jeff, thanks for being with me once again.
Always good, Scott.
Thanks for listening to the Trimetric Roadmap, powered by Business Freedom Advisors. I've been your host, Scott Landis. If you're growing a business but something still feels off, you're not alone. That's exactly why we created the Trimetric quiz. It's not a personality test, it's a powerful diagnostic tool that shows you where you're in alignment and where things may be silently slipping off track across your business, life, and leadership. It only takes a few minutes, and the clarity you'll gain is a game changer. Go to trimetricquiz.com to take the quiz now before the cost of staying stuck gets any higher. Until next time, stay focused, stay aligned, and keep building a business that truly supports your life.